Okay, peace and life, family. I hope that y'all are well. Hey, wellness community. Shay was in here early. I had to put Shay. I think it's Shay or Shy. I had to put Shy up here because she was in here early. Okay, first one. Peace and life, family. Hey, wellness community. I see y'all butterflies in the sky. Hey, Lena. Hi, Lakita. I hope that everybody is well and happy and whole and all that good stuff. I saw my homegirl Universal Lighthouse, Sean. Hey Sean. I hope that you are well. Hey Zaza. Okay, family. So my intentions for this video is to get right into it, and I want to discuss this upcoming new moon, our hybrid solar eclipse, and Mercury retrograde. Y'all, this week we have like a lot of planetary shifts that are occurring, and some very rare planetary shifts. So my intention for this video is to discuss what are the planetary shifts that's happening this week. How will they impact us? I want to give y'all 5 do's, 5 things you want to do to utilize this energy in your wellness or for your wellness, 5 things you don't want to do or avoid to kind of help you utilize this energy in your wellness so that it doesn't, take you over. We don't want this energy to bring you down. We want to utilize this energy to uplift us and to contribute to our wellness. So I'm going to discuss 5 things you want to kind of avoid or stay away from during this time. I also want to share 5 journal prompts just to help you kind of think about how you're feeling and think about how your energy is impacted or could be impacted, again, all for your wellness during this time. And then of course we got to discuss 5 crystals and 5 herbs just to utilize to help kind of be a catalyst for this energy, again and always in your wellness, for your wellness, right? Anytime we have something going on, any type of planetary shifts, we always try to assess it to see how can we utilize this energy for our wellness, including Mercury retrograde. But I don't want to start off by talking about Mercury retrograde, but again, I think it's important to acknowledge that, for a lot of us, you hear Mercury retrograde and a lot of people start dreading it, and we're already in the shadow period of it. And some people are already feeling this energy. And, a lot of folks kind of see it as a downtime, but in actuality, even Mercury retrograde, we have the ability to use that energy for our wellness. So let's get right into it, family. I have my notes. If you are in the wellness community, you do not at all need to take notes because, as always, I'm going to copy and paste and share my notes in the Patreon. I actually already have it drafted up here, and I will just be posting it right after this video. So if you are in the wellness community, you will not need to take any notes. Immediately after this video, I will publish my notes in the Patreon. If you are not in the wellness community, I hope you have your pen and notepads ready because, again, you're going to receive 5 do's, 5 don'ts, 5 journal prompts, 5 crystals, and 5 herbs that you want to work with or utilize so that this energy can work in your favor and work for your wellness. All right. So let's just get right into it, family, and start off by talking about the new moon. Now, y'all, this new moon, I love the energy of this new moon because it too is a rare occurrence. And no, the new moon is not a rare occurrence, but the peak of this new moon and how it's shifting and moving is the somewhat rare occurrence. So we have a new moon peaking on April 20th, at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Time. The new moon is peaking on April 20th at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, the thing about this new moon is at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Time, it peaks in Aries. And then at 12:30 a.m., it shifts to Taurus. Now, what makes this a bit unique is that oftentimes we have the new moon, and the new moon peaks in the sign, the next zodiac sign, or the current astrological sign, right? So the new moon technically should be peaking in Taurus, or the new moon will peak in the sign that is about to begin for that season. However, this new moon will still be in Aries when it peaks at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Time, which means that the energy of Aries will still impact us throughout this new moon season, although it will quickly shift to Taurus at 12:30. So just a few moments later, we will still be impacted by that Aries energy. So during this new moon cycle, we have a combination of Aries and Taurus energy impacting us during this time. Again, New moon peaks at 12:12 a.m. Eastern time, and then quickly shifts to Taurus at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, so just be mindful of that. And I'll go into more detail about how that energy will impact us. Okay. Then the night before, so April 19th at 9:34, I want to get the exact time right. April 13th at 9:34 p.m. Eastern time, April 19th at 9:34 p.m. Eastern time, we have the hybrid solar eclipse. Now, a hybrid solar eclipse, so there's different types of solar eclipses, right? You have a full, a partial, and then this one is a hybrid, which essentially means that the moon will be somewhat blocking the sun or casting a shadow on the sun, but you will still see what they call the ring of fire around the sun. So a partial solar eclipse is essentially you will partially or halfway see the sun. A full solar eclipse, the entire sun will be blocked out and you won't be able to see anything. This is a hybrid, which means yes, the moon will cast a shadow over the sun, but you will still around it will still see what they call a ring of fire. And for the wellness community, I will put a picture in the Patreon so you guys can kind of get an idea of what that will look like. Now, unfortunately, for us in the US, we won't be able to have a full visible sight of that ring of fire on April 19th at 9:34. We won't have full visible sight of it, but it is there and it will be present and we will still be able to feel the energy, which is important to say because oftentimes people will say like, you know, Queen, I can't see the moon. How can I work with it? Or the moon is not visible by my house. Can I still see it? Can I still feel it? Can I still make moon water? Can I still do all these things? And even if you can't see the moon, even if you can't see the hybrid solar eclipse, the energy is still present and the energy will still impact you. And yes, you can still do your moon work. You can still do your solar eclipse work and all of that. Okay. Now, so 4/19, we have the hybrid solar eclipse. 4:20, basically later on that evening, because it will peak on 4:20 at 12:12. So later on that evening, we have the new moon peaking in Aries, quickly shifting into Taurus. And then April 21st, Mercury retrograde officially begins. And Mercury retrograde begins from April 21st all the way through May 14th. Okay. So those are 3 planetary shifts that will impact us this weekend. Now let's talk about how each and every shift is going to impact our energy or potentially affect us. Okay. Now, starting with the hybrid solar eclipse, this is the thing. And I want y'all to be mindful about this energy. With solar eclipse energy, it is a time of sudden change, sudden shifts, sudden transitions. So, what this could look like is you may think that you have something solid, something in the books, something official, and then quickly, suddenly it changes. Someone or yourself quickly changing your mind about something, having your mind set, having your heart set, and you quickly change it, having an agreement with someone, and all of a sudden that agreement quickly shifts. Okay. So, what a hybrid solar eclipse energy brings is quick, sudden changes. Now, this hybrid solar eclipse is in Aries, and Aries is a sign of passion, of fire, of new beginnings. So, what this could look like is quick and sudden new opportunities, or sometimes things quickly going away. Like you think you have something that kind of just slips right between your fingers. But keep in mind that this is all for your wellness. This is not something that's working against you. And although you may, have some feelings attached to what you think you have or what you think is for you, just know that anything that goes away suddenly or anything that comes suddenly is all for your wellness, depending on how you utilize it. But that's the energy of a hybrid solar eclipse. That ring of fire, that Aries energy, right? That passion, those sudden new beginnings. Just keep in mind that it's a lot of sudden changes, sudden shifts. So honestly, and connecting it with this Mercury retrograde energy, this is not the time to get super with this next week and next month. This is not the time to really enter into any serious contracts that you are very serious and excited about. Honestly, this is not the time to like be closing on a home, making any extreme permanent decisions. This is not the time for that. And if you choose to do that, just be mindful that if something suddenly changes, if something suddenly shifts, that is all in alignment with this energy right now, right? So for example, closing on a home and all of a sudden something happens, or it could also be in a good way where you are about to close on a home and all of a sudden the price decreases dramatically, or a new opportunity, something bigger and better comes along. It could also be in a positive way, but just any sudden changes and shifts in energy, that is that hybrid solar eclipse energy, solar eclipse in Aries. Okay, and we have to highlight Aries because, again, it's that fire, that passion, the new beginnings. It's a cardinal sign. So that new beginning energy, keep that in mind. Now, that's the hybrid solar eclipse is 419. Later on that evening, 420, 1212, moving to 1230, where it transitions to Taurus, we have that new moon peaking in Aries. Now, new moon is all about setting intentions. New moon is all about manifesting. And then you have Aries energy, which, again, that fire, that passion, that new beginning. Then that transit into Taurus. Okay, Taurus is a fixed earth sign. Taurus is all about grounding. It's all about being strong-willed. And some people will even say that Taurus are very stubborn. It's not so much about being stubborn, but being very strong-willed. Okay, so with the new moon in Aries and quickly transiting into Taurus, really that new moon in Aries energy that we had and that we kind of just moved through, where you get a elevation in confidence, an elevation in desire to start something new, to do something else, right? An elevation in wanting to figure out your purpose and seeing how you can manifest your purpose, maybe changes in career path, starting new relationships. That's what that new moon in Aries is all about. But the thing that's going to make this one a little different is that quick shift into Taurus and being set in it, being sure about it, being certain about it, and almost coming across as like a little bit stubborn, a little bit bullheaded, and that is okay. So with this new moon in Aries quickly shifting into Taurus, it's going to look like those final shifts and changes and transitions, you kind of having that stern knowing, a lot of divine intuition, and kind of just knowing what you want, knowing what to do. For those of us, and I say us because me included, those of us who may struggle with being like a little indecisive, all of a sudden you're kind of just like making the decision and just doing it, right? Y'all know my theme for the year, do it now. A lot of us are going to be moving with that energy, like you're just doing it now. Even if you used to be decisive, or you have moments of feeling a bit indecisive, all of a sudden you just have like a surety about you. I don't know if that's a word, surety, but a certainty about you. All of a sudden, you just have that, okay? That is that Aries transitioning into Taurus energy, that divine knowing and then moving on it and being set in it and being sure about it. Nobody can talk you out of it. Nobody can convince you that this is a bad thing. This is something you shouldn't be doing. Other people's opinions and outside noise is not really affecting you this season, okay? So this is not the time, and we'll get into this when we talk about the don'ts, but this is not the time to be, arguing. And I always tell you, I ain't about to argue with nobody. Okay, I ain't, I ain't about to argue with nobody about nothing. This is the time that you really about to be on that vibe. We all about to be on that vibe when it comes to decisions for our life and things that we want to do. So, and again, I'll get into more of this like with the do's and things like that. But really, this is the time where if you want to move, if you've been desiring to move, don't be surprised if over this next month, you suddenly are like, I'm doing it. I'm moving. I'm gone. I'm out. And then those opportunities just start popping up because that Aries energy, that hybrid solar eclipse. So random opportunities just popping up out of nowhere, and you got to take it. You set on it. Your mind is made up. And that hybrid solar eclipse energy where things are just popping up, random starts, random new beginnings, it's all working in your favor. So this is how we move in alignment with the planetary shifts, okay? Let me put this in perspective for y'all. The new moon in Aries transitioning into Taurus is giving you that fire, that passion to start new things, start new projects. That Taurus energy is giving you that steadfast stick-to-itiveness to follow it through. Almost a bit of that bullhead, stubborn nature that you just running straight into it, no holds barred, no outside noise or distractions, like that tunnel vision that you need. That hybrid solar eclipse energy is helping all of these new opportunities and this energy kind of just work in your favor, things just popping up and working for you, certain things just happening, and you don't even know why it happened, but it just happens. It reminds me of Kiara Clark shared, I think it's her song is It Keeps Happening for Me, right? It just keeps happening for me, and you don't even know why, but things just keep happening for you. Blessings just keep coming to you. That is how all of that energy works together. Now, with the Mercury retrograde happening on the 21st, this is how that could potentially impact that energy, right? Because all of this sounds great to have this new moon in Aries transitioning into Taurus, and you have the internal work and then the hybrid solar eclipse, the external universe all helping and working in your favor to manifest this newness. But that Mercury retrograde energy on the 21st, y'all, listen to me closely when I say this. I have a whole video on Mercury retrograde, and I'm very passionate about reminding people of this. Mercury retrograde is an illusion. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. Mercury retrograde is the illusion that a planet is retrograde in general, is the illusion that a planet is moving backwards. It's an illusion that things are going wrong. It's an illusion that things are not happening in your favor, that it's hurt and harm and danger. It's an illusion that you are not well. It's an illusion that things are working against you. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. So Mercury retrograde, that energy is the only thing that could trick you out your bag right now. That's the only thing that could trick you out of your blessings right now. That's the only thing that could work against you right now. That energy could manifest as self-doubting. That energy could manifest as believing the things that people tell you about you or about what you want to do. That energy could manifest as an opportunity going away, and instead of moving forward and attracting the next opportunity, you so focused on trying to get what they meant for you. So you stuck and steadfast in something that ain't for you, and you scared to transition to the next thing. Mercury retrograde during this time can manifest as complacency and moving out of fear or not moving out of fear, standing and staying still wherever you are because you scared that whatever is new and whatever's on the other side ain't gonna be greener than what you got right here. That's what that Mercury retrograde energy could look like right now. So this new moon in Aries transition into Taurus is working in your favor. That's the internal. That's having the fire and the passion to start something new. That's having that divine intuition that you know that, okay, this is my purpose. This is what I want to do. That quick transition into Taurus is that steadfastness that you need to stick to it. That hybrid solar eclipse energy is helping all these opportunities manifest and the universe work in your favor. But that Mercury retrograde energy is giving you the illusion that you can't do it. That Mercury retrograde is giving you the illusion that it ain't for you. That Mercury retrograde is giving the illusion that this thing that went away, this agreement that was broken, I need to fight for this and I need to hold on to this because ain't nothing better gonna come than what I already got. Don't let Mercury retrograde energy trick you out your bag, trick you out of your confidence, trick you out of your fire, your passion, your desire, your steadfastness, your stick-to-itiveness. Do not allow that Mercury retrograde energy to negatively impact you. Again, we have to utilize all of this energy for our wellness, okay? So let's talk about some things that we want to do and not do during this season, okay? 5 do's, 5 don'ts. Now, the first do that I have, set intentions to start something new and or manifest a new aspect of yourself, internal work, more confidence, new career path, new relationships, etc. That hybrid solar eclipse will impact any Aries area of your chart. So I want y'all to pull up your natal chart and see where Aries may fall in your chart, north node, south node, anywhere in your chart, right? Check your placements and prepare for new beginnings in those areas. So if you really, really, really want to manifest, you setting your intentions and you're manifesting new beginnings, and you are really, really, really trying to utilize this energy in your favor, you want to pull up your natal chart and see any Aries placements that you have in your chart and focus on writing down, doing some candle work, maybe some altar work, maybe, and manifesting specifically new beginnings and fresh starts in Aries areas of your chart, right? So check your Venus, check your check your Venus, check your Mars, check your Jupiter, check your Mercury, check your area, that's your area of communication. Check these areas of your chart and see where Aries may fall. Check your north and south node, see where your Aries may fall and see what those areas focus on, right? What aspects of your life do those areas impact, and how would you desire to manifest new beginnings, fresh starts in those areas? Okay, so that's how you can really up your manifestation and really focus in, because you're utilizing all of this Aries energy in your favor. Okay, so that's the first do. The second do, and this is moving into that Taurus energy, because again, I can't say it enough. It's going to be a quick shift into Taurus energy. Finalize your plans to move, change, or shift in any areas of your life. So this is not a time that you want to be kind of like, again, you don't want to be going back and forth. You don't want to be indecisive. When you know, and you have to like really move in that follow your first mind energy. When you know, you know. When you are sure, you are sure. You are certain, and you want to just move in that. Okay, you don't want to kind of be obsessive about should I, shouldn't I, do I know, do I not know? Is this something I really want to do? Really just kind of sit, meditate, decide, and move in it. So you want to finalize any plans you have. If you've been contemplating moving, you've been contemplating how can I put it? You've been contemplating moving. You've been contemplating like a new relationship. You've been contemplating any type of change or transition. Definitely just decide. Decide that, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And I'm done. Okay? Just decide. Okay? So keep that in mind. The third do, stick to your decisions regardless of what others say. Stick to your decisions regardless of what others say. Don't allow yourself to be talked out of your decision. That's that Mercury retrograde energy. Okay? That's that Mercury retrograde energy. Do not allow yourself to be talked out of your decision, no matter what. You decide, you do. That's it. You're not really looking for any other opinions on this. You're not really looking for too much advisement on this. This is the time for you to just kind of go within, and it's between you and spirit. I honestly advise keeping some things quiet during this time. I honestly advise just kind of like moving in silence during this time. This is not something that you're really like sharing with everybody. You know what I'm saying? These are not plans that you shouting out to the world. This is kind of something, a time to like, okay, I'm manifesting, I'm deciding, I know what I want, I'm visioning, I'm moving in it, and it's between you, your spirit guides, the universe, God. That's it. You're not really taking too much advice and too many. You should really, the people really shouldn't even know what you're doing like that to be advising you on what to do. Honestly. And that's another way that we are not allowing that Mercury retrograde energy to work against us. We're utilizing it in our favor, right? Because we're not going out and shouting out to other people what we should be doing and not doing and asking everybody's opinion. You know, like keep it to yourself and hold on to it. That's what you want to focus on during this time. Okay. Practice grounding and emotional support techniques like mindfulness, breath work, meditation, and any other type of grounding technique. Because I want y'all to keep in mind that, you know, Aries energy is beautiful. It's great. Aries energy is also very fiery. Okay. Taurus energy is, again, Taurus is a fixed earth sign, which Taurus is big in grounding. Taurus is big in like staying in touch with reality. It's not too floaty, not too dreamy, not too airy. Taurus is really like get it done energy because they're very set in reality, and this is how things are and this is how things go. This is what we should and shouldn't do. Very like black and white, no gray area. That's Taurus energy. When you are putting a plan in motion, that's how you want to move. Okay. You don't want to be too airy. You don't want to be too floaty. You don't want to be too dreamy. That's the start of manifesting. That's how we start our manifestations. That's how we decide what we want. You know, that's how we decide what we want to do and all of that. But when we are implementing something, you want to be feet to ground moving. You want to be on go. Okay. You want to be tunnel vision. So this is the time that when you are doing your breath work, when you're doing your grounding techniques, you're practicing your mindfulness, you want to be strong and set in reality. We are steadfast during this time. Okay. Steadfast during this time. We're not moving in a very like nonchalant way. We're not moving very, you know, unsure, uncertain. You need to ground. You need to be steady. You need to be steadfast. So this is the time where you have to really identify what are my key go-to grounding techniques. And that'll actually be one of our journal prompts. What are my key go-to grounding techniques when I need to ground, when I need to focus? What techniques do I pull? What do I utilize? Is it breath work? Is it chanting? Is it any other form of meditation? Do I like to do some type of body movement to ground myself? I know so a lot of people like to practice yoga. They like to do different things to ground themselves. Some people like to do a lot of sun work. Some people like to do some moon work. You know, what do you do? Some people like to literally ground in by walking through grass, right? So planting feet to land, and that's how they ground themselves. Some people will practice mindfulness and they do like the 1, 2, 3 mindfulness trick where it's like, what are 5 things that I see? What are 4 things that I hear? What are 3 things that I smell? And they do that to help ground themselves, right? But grounding is really about bringing yourself to the here and now. Grounding is about setting yourself in reality and connecting and becoming one with the universe. During this time, you really want to do that. Again, moving in that Taurus energy. And that kind of helps us have that divine knowing of what should my next step be? What should my next step be? So when you are implementing a plan, when you are putting something into action, even in those moments that you feel unsure, you kind of feel like you don't know, when you ground yourself and you put yourself in the here and now, just vision yourself like walking and you looking at your feet and you see your foot moving to the next step. So when you are putting a plan into motion and you feel like you don't know what you want to do next or know where you want to go, feet to ground, next step. Move, 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 go, go, go. You just kind of know. You know what to do. Salam. Relax, please, Titty. Thank you. Come on. Come on. Okay. Okay. So yes, that's what you really want to do. You really want to hone in on your grounding techniques during this time, okay? Now the fifth do, moon water family. I need you to collect some moon water because again, it's not a common thing that occurs where we have a new moon peak in the previous sign and then quickly transition to the next sign, okay? So this new moon is peaking in Aries and then quickly transition into Taurus a few moments later. So your moon water that you collect during this time, especially at the time of that peak, at the time of that transition, will carry energy and aspects of both. Now, let me be clear about moon water, right? This is the thing about moon water. When we utilize moon water, we utilize it with the intention of the energy we have captured with it. So, this is, everybody that has their own way of doing things, right? But let's really look at this with like a logic mind. You have to be mindful of what water you are collecting with what intention under what alignment, right? So if you're utilizing the moon water of this time, you collect moon water for this time, that moon water is infused with the energy of the planetary alignment of this time. So think about everything I just described about this new moon in Aries quickly transitioning into Taurus, along with this hybrid solar eclipse. So the hybrid solar eclipse is at 9:34 p.m. 4/19 on April 19th. Let's say about 9 p.m. April 19th, you put that moon water out. And then you bring it in that following morning after the new moon has peaked in Aries and transitioned into Taurus. This new moon water with that Aries, Taurus, and hybrid solar eclipse in Aries energy is all going to be about confidence. It's all going to be about new beginnings. It's all going to be about renewal. It's going to be about standing strong and steadfastness, so a lot of strength. So when you collect moon water for this time, it will carry all that energy. This is how you want to utilize this moon water. Anytime you are feeling unsure, anytime you are feeling insecure, anytime you are struggling with self-doubt, anytime you are struggling with any type of like uncertainty, you're wondering what you should do next, you're wondering what the next step should be. This is that what you want to utilize this moon water for. Okay. So you collect when we collect moon water, we collect rainwater, we collect it with an understanding of the energy that we are infusing that water with, right? And we utilize it when we need that energy. You don't just utilize any moon water at any time just for whatever, just to say you're using moon water. You want to be very mindful about utilizing it when you need it. So again, if you're ever feeling insecure, this is the moon water you want to grab because it's infused with the energy of confidence. If you're ever feeling weak or you're ever feeling unstrong, this is the moon water that's infused with the energy of being steadfast. If you're ever feeling, again, weak, if you're ever feeling drained, you're ever feeling used up, this is the moon water that has that bull Taurus strength, that renewal, right? If you need to be refreshed, you need to be renewed, you want to use this moon water for that. Now, how you would collect this moon water, you get you a mason jar, okay, or any type of container that you like to use of your preference. You want to put some fresh spring water in there, okay? Or it could be rainwater that you have collected before. You want to put that outside under the moon. Again, we have the solar eclipse at 9:34 4:19. So I advise that you put it out there about 9 p.m. 4:19. You want to let it sit over that peak of the new moon at 12:12, transition into Taurus at 12:30, and then you want to be mindful to just bring it in the house before the sun comes up. And you have your moon water. Now you could use your moon water by putting it in a spiritual bath. You could use your moon water by putting it on a stove and cooking with it, making tea with it, making herbs with it. You can utilize your moon water by just drinking it if you want to, if that's what you want to do. You can again bathe in it, wash yourself, wash your hair. You can clean your house in it. You can make a floor wash with this moon water. Any way your spirit leads you to use it, use it. But the key is using it at the time that you need it. Use it at the time that you need this energy, that you desire this energy. So that way, even when Aries energy or Taurus energy is not present, you have it captured in the form of moon water. So let's say we have a new moon in Cancer, and Cancer energy, or full moon in Cancer. And Cancer energy is all about heavy emotions. Full moon is all about chaos and being a bit erratic. You have this new moon in Aries transition into Taurus energy, and it brings you that balance. It brings you that steadfastness. It brings you that strength, that renewal. So in the midst of this full moon in Cancer chaos energy, you have this new moon Aries Taurus water to help ease you through and utilize this energy for your wellness to help bring you restoration and balance. So that's how that moon water works, okay? So the fifth do is collect your moon water, all right? Now let's move to the do nots, okay? The first do not, again, I can't say it enough. Do not battle anybody about your decisions. Just move quietly and make it happen. That's straightforward. The second do not allow complacency and fear to cause you to sit still when spirit is telling you to move. I'm just going to say this one time and one time only. When spirit tells you to move, you better move. When spirit tells you to go, you better go. I will tell this story again and again and again and again and again and again and again. What blessed me that night that I was sleeping, and spirit told me to wake up and do my Patreon. Wake up, build the wellness community. I woke up, grabbed my laptop, and it just poured out of my spirit. Everything with ease just poured. I could have stayed asleep. I could have been like, oh, I'm going to do it when I wake up. Oh, I'm going to do it when no. I got the move and I did it. Spirit gave me the direction and I did it. I didn't allow being tired, being sleepy, or any not feeling well, because I wasn't feeling well at that time. I had just got out of the hospital. I didn't allow any of those excuses to get in my way of moving when spirit told me to move. And we've been prospering ever since. Oftentimes people will say, I don't know what my passion is. I don't know what to do. But then spirit will tell you what to do. Spirit will tell you how to move. Spirit will give you an opportunity. But you let being tired get in your way. You let little things, little excuses get in your way. That's complacency. You comfortable. So you letting all these, you comfortable in the bed. You're sleeping good and you don't want to get up. And spirit done told you to get up. Spirit done gave you a dream. They done sent you a sign. They done even had you roll over and wake up a little bit, sip a little water, see that laptop over there, and you still ain't get up out your bed to go get it. You chose to turn your back on it, get back comfortable, pull that cover up, go to sleep. Now you wake up the next morning. You can't even remember what you were supposed to do. That dream you dreamt last night, the spirit told you how to move. You can't even remember it when you woke up because you had no business going back to sleep in the first place. You were supposed to get up and move on that. You see what I'm saying? So just be mindful of that. When spirit tells you to move. You say, okay, stay out of my room. Stay out. I ain't in the room. I ain't in the room, Cash, but if it's you, I love you, Cash. I love you. But a lot of folks do that. So that's a do not. Please do not allow complacency and fear to cause you to sit still. And the only way to overcome fear is to work through it. In the wellness community, we had a Zoom meeting and someone was talking about bravery. And the sister was saying how she's brave in so many other areas of her life. But in this area, but in other areas like fear wins, like she feels fearful. And my advice is there cannot be a thing called bravery if there isn't a such thing called fear, right? All your fear is telling you is what you care about, right? When you have fear about making a move or fear about doing something, it's because you're taking a risk. It's because there's something you care about that's attached to that other side. And if it don't work out, then this thing I care about will go away. So all your fear is telling you is what you care about, right? You cannot be brave if there is not fear that is present. Bravery cannot exist without fear. So the fact that she was able to identify that in other areas of her life, she's brave, that means that you have the ability to overcome fear. So let's analyze this fear. What is it that I care about? What is this fear? Is the alarm. This fear is talking to me and telling me what I care about. What do I care about? What do I value? What can I do to protect it? What can I do to hold on to it no matter what? Or is this something that maybe I'm meant to actually let go of? Is this something that maybe I actually will be well without? So regardless, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we tap into our bravery and we move anyway. We move wisely, we move with a plan, but we do not allow fear to stop us. So don't allow complacency, being too comfortable, or fear, the loss of what you care about, the fear of taking a risk to stop you from making that next move. Okay. The third, do not. Do not seek stability in outside sources. Tap into your grounding practices when the urge for stability hits, because something I want y'all to be mindful of is that Mercury retrograde energy also has a tendency to make us feel unorganized. It also has a tendency to make us feel a bit, chaotic. And anytime we are going through changes and transitions like that Aries and Taurus energy is bringing, so that hybrid solar eclipse in Aries, that new moon peaking in Aries, transition into Taurus, that's causing transition. As I said, it's causing new beginnings, things shifting. Anytime we have a shift occurring, think about that Oya energy, right? Oya to Orisha, over change, transformation, transition. The hurricanes, strong winds, storms, tornadoes. Think about that energy, right? Anytime a change, a shift, a transition is occurring, it could feel a bit chaotic. So don't be surprised if you find yourself craving stability. But your stability is not going to be found in being stuck or being, steady in this area. That's not where your stability is going to come from. Your stability is not going to come from you sitting and staying still and not moving. Your stability is going to come from you grounding. It's going to be an internal thing, being the peace in the midst of the chaos, being the calm in the midst of the storm. So allow the storm to brew, allow the change to occur, but you got to know how to ground and look at your feet and watch yourself walk and move through that storm. Walk and move through those shifts and changes, and that's implementing the plan. That walking and moving is implementing the plan. You change and you transition and you shift and you moving, but you looking at your feet, you grounded and you walking and you moving and you're implementing the plan. Okay. So just be mindful of that. The grounding is going to come from within. Don't look for it in outside sources. The fourth, do not make any permanent long-term agreements without thorough review. Mercury retrograde energy can affect long-term permanent agreements like serious contracts and things like that. I'm not saying, because I know some folks, you may have again, be closing on a house. You may have a job interview. You may have something like that. Thorough, 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 thorough review. Read that contract 10 times, 20 times. Note any changes, scan it, copy it. Don't sign it without making a copy of the agreement that you're looking at first, because honestly, Mercury retrograde can manifest as trickster energy. It could manifest as something showing up as something that is not. It could manifest as somebody trying to play with you, somebody trying to get over on you. Okay, so just any contract that you may enter in, just make sure you read it thoroughly, because I know sometimes people have time limits. And again, Mercury retrograde is over May 14th. So if you could hold out until after the 14th, or even after like a couple weeks after that, maybe like after the 21st of May, hold out on it. But if you have to do it, just thorough review. Go get you a lawyer, go get you a second pair of eyes or something. Just read it again and again and pray on it and make sure it sits right with your spirit above all else. Okay, so just be mindful of that with any contracts. The fifth do not hold too tightly to any decision. I'm going to say that again. Do not hold too tightly to any decision. Give yourself the freedom to change your mind and evolve, because that too is that hybrid solar eclipse in Aries energy. Give yourself the freedom to change your mind, even if you made the decision and you steadfast in it. If your spirit is telling you move a different direction, go a different direction. Listen to what I said. I said, don't let outside sources influence you and tell you not to do something. But if your spirit is saying, okay, we went left, we steadfast on it. This is going right. This is going well. We on this path. Now make a right. Go make that right. Give yourself the freedom to change your mind, not somebody else changing your mind, not somebody else influencing you on what to do. But if your spirit is telling you, make another turn, make another turn. That's giving yourself the space to evolve and change. Even a tornado changes directions. Even a hurricane changes directions. Any type of storm has the ability to quickly change directions. That's how you have to vision yourself during this time. You need to vision yourself as a tornado, vision yourself as a hurricane. Okay, you are making strong changes and moving swiftly and quickly and changing a lot of different things in your life for the better. Okay, I know tornadoes and hurricanes don't always change things for the better, but it washes things away and makes them anew. That's what you're doing during this time. Okay, that's what you're doing during this time. So give yourself the space and the freedom to evolve and flow. All right, now let's move to journal prompts. And we're gonna move through these quickly. As I said, wellness community, you will have the notes available in the Patreon, so you don't need to take notes. Anybody else, feel free to pause the video, okay, and just take your notes as you need to. We're gonna move through the journal prompts quickly. Journal prompt number 1. What areas of my chart do Aries fall in, and what changes do I desire in that area? So you're gonna pull up your natal chart. Now, because I know people gonna ask, I recommend Sanctuary app. To me, Sanctuary app is one of the clearest. CoStar is also a very good one, but I prefer Sanctuary app over CoStar. Look, CoStar is a good reference tool, and then cross-reference it to Sanctuary, but I just like how Sanctuary functions a bit more. But what you need is your birth date and time, and it's important that you have the accurate time and location as well of your birth. Okay, so get your birth certificate and make sure you have an accurate. If folks is gonna put in the comments, places they recommend too for your natal chart. Universal Lighthouse said time passages. Carolyn, I like how you spelled that. Carolyn says she loved CoStar. I like how you spelled that. Is this, you said Shania or is that Channy? Channy isn't bad either. Okay, Cash says Sanctuary app as well. Astro chat. Okay, so we have some good recommendations in the chat for other places for your natal chart. But the reason that the time is important is because the change in time can completely shift your rising sign. It can completely shift a lot of your placements. So I'll even say for me, and for example, I had my AM and PM wrong, right? I thought I was born in the morning. I was an evening birth. So I put AM and I was really a PM. And that shifted my rising sign and everything. Okay. By me making that AM to PM change, I had the number right, but I had the day, time of day wrong, like the AM, PM wrong. That completely shifted my entire chart. And I never felt connected. Y'all, they tried to say when I had the AM, they tried to say that my rising was a Pisces. I was like, I don't feel no Pisces energy as my I don't feel that. That's not resonating with my spirit. So for a long time, I didn't feel connected to my natal chart. I was like, oh, this ain't really me. But when I looked at my birth certificate, I realized that, oh, I'm actually PM. Oh, damn. And that put me at Leo rising. And let me tell you, big boss energy, baby. I felt it. Okay. They call me Mama Zeddy. You hear me? I felt it. Big boss energy. Okay. Big dandada. You feel me? I was like, oh, this is Leo rising. that's your girl. You feel me? Yeah. So the natal chart, the having that time right is important because any little change impacts your chart greatly, even down to my Venus. I was like, it gave me one Venus. The Venus was actually different. I'm actually a Venus in Pisces. Resonates a lot. Resonates a lot. So just that quick change, that shift in the time, 12-hour difference, made a complete shift in my natal chart. And my actual natal chart, I'm like, oh, this is me through and through. This is me through and through. So make sure you have that right time. But again, the first journal prompt is, what areas of my chart do Aries fall in, and what changes do I desire in that area? And that's all moving with that new moon in Aries energy, hybrid solar eclipse energy. The second journal prompt, how do I respond to stress? This is an important one. How do I respond to stress? What are my preferred grounding techniques in stressful moments? That's an important one. Okay. A lot of folks, I actually got this from a podcast. I was watching a podcast earlier and she asked that question. Like I had already wrote, what are my preferred grounding techniques? And I put, my original question was, what are my preferred grounding techniques in the midst of chaos? But I was listening to the podcast and she had threw out that question. And she was like, what are your preferred, how did she ask her husband, how do you respond to stress? And I was like, that's such a good question, because when we think about what are our preferred grounded techniques and we think about chaos, chaos is really stress, right? Chaos causes stress. So a simpler way to put it is, how do you respond to stress? And what are your grounded techniques in a stressful situation? When you peak stress, like you feel like things are going wrong, things are happening, how do you initially respond to it? And then what do you do to ground yourself? If you realize that you don't have any grounded techniques, you may want to start researching and pulling some grounded techniques and trying to practice them. Because again, as I said, this is a lot of change and shift and transition energy. So in those moments that you feel in chaos, in those moments that you feeling a bit unorganized, unstable, how do you respond to stress? What grounded techniques will you utilize? What will you pull? What works for you? Okay, what works for you? Now, the next journal prompt, and y'all do realize that we are a quarter of the way through the year. Okay, we are a quarter of the way through the year. And with this new moon in Aries quickly shifting to Taurus, it just really put like evolution, evolving, quick and sudden changes. It really put that on my spirit, because this is the time to really analyze. Third journal prompt, how have I evolved and changed in the first quarter of 2023? Analyze all areas of your life, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. We all have the ability to change and transition. I want you to pay attention from January 2023. Even if you got to go back in your phone and look at your calendar or look at pictures of you or whatever, go back and ask yourself, between January and April, how have I changed and evolved just this first quarter of the year? How was I when I started the year versus how am I now? How have I changed and evolved over this first quarter of the year? For myself, as I told y'all, for the new year, this is my do it now year. So a lot of things with me have changed and evolved. I told January, my do it now for January was I got my Peloton. I've been working out on my Peloton consistently. So physically, my fitness has improved. I have better breath control. I'm able to like walk up the stairs and not get out of breath. I've lost a few pounds. I got a breast reduction, so physically I've changed a lot within this first quarter of the year. Emotionally, something I was working on within this first quarter of the year is really being how can I be more communicative? I think that's a word. Communicative. How can I be more communicative, okay, of my emotional space with friends, right? So really learning how to communicate my emotions in the midst of the emotions, as opposed to when I'm finished with the emotion. I'm good in hindsight communicating how I feel, like, how you been, girl? Oh, over that last week I was but I'm good now. But no, like in the midst of the emotion, how can I communicate how I feel in the midst of the emotion? You see what I'm saying? So that's something I was working on. I feel like I have really, really improved that. I'm having brunch with a friend this week, so I'll really, really know. But I feel like I've improved that. But emotionally, that's something I'm working on. So for you guys, I want you to really analyze your life mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. How have you evolved over this first quarter of the year? If you can't identify any ways that you have evolved, let's think of some ways that you would like to evolve or like to change. How would you like to improve? How would you like to get better? Because again, it's always about utilizing this energy for our wellness, utilizing this energy in our favor. So, how would you like to improve? How would you like to get better? Because we still got 3/4 of the year left. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm doing my math. Okay. So yeah, we still got we are in our second quarter of the year. So we still got 3/4 of the year left. So how are you going to evolve and change over these next 3/4 of the year? We're literally in the midst of the second quarter. What are you going to do? What are you working on? So if you can't think of how you've evolved and changed, what's your plan for the next 3/4 of the year to start evolving and changing in those areas of your life? Hey, Miss Helen, I see you. Okay. The fourth journal prompt. What does certainty feel like to me? What does certainty feel like for me? How do I know when I'm sure? How do you know? When you are sure, when you just know, when the decision is made, how do you know? When do you know? What does certainty feel like for you? Think about the last time that you just knew this was the right thing. Think about the last time that you just knew what to do. How did you know? What did it feel like for you? And then a follow-up for that is, what are my signs of confirmation from spirit? When spirit is confirming for me that something is right, what are my signs? Do I see things in 3? Do I see numbers, consecutive numbers, 3 2s or 3 3s, 1 1 1? What are your signs of confirmation? And we talked about this last time, right? So what are your signs of confirmation from spirit? What are your signs of confirmation internally from your Ori, from your divine self, your highest self? When you just know, how do you know? When you are sure, how do you know? And I want you to write that out because that's going to be important during this time. As I said, that Taurus energy is about being steadfast, being strong, being sure. But you got to know what sure is for you to know that you are sure. And I realize that some folks don't know that, like, this has a lot to do with intuition too. Folks don't know when their spirit is telling them how to move because they don't even know when they are sure. Some folks don't know when they have that divine knowing because they don't even know what that divine knowing feels like. They don't even know what it feels like to be certain, to be sure, to have your intuition say, this is it. They've never analyzed that. So for folks who are like, I want to tap more into my intuition, to tap into your intuition and to be able to identify your intuition, you have to identify times that you have been certain and been sure. And how did you know? Okay, because all of that is connected together. Now, the fifth journal prompt. What does a confident me look like and feel like? What areas of my life would I like to be more confident in? What does a confident me look like and feel like? And what areas of my life would I like to be more confident in? Okay, that Aries energy is all about confidence. Okay, so when we're talking about that Aries energy, again, new moon in Aries, hybrid solar eclipse in Aries, it's all about confidence, that fire, that passion, also a lot of alluring sexiness, right? Aries, please don't get gassed up because y'all know how y'all get gassed up. Aries, one thing about an Aries, you got to mind their ego. Okay, they be gassed up now. But one thing about Aries is that they are very like alluring, sensual, sexy beings. So tap into that energy, tap into that confidence, tap into that allure, tap into that sexiness, right? What areas of your life do you want to be more confident in? Do you want to be more confident in the workplace? Do you want to be more confident when it comes to your spiritual journey? Do you want to be more confident when it comes to just moving throughout the world? What areas of your life do you want to be more confident, more sure, move with confidence, more sensual, more alluring? You want to just be able to sensually attract things to you without having to work for it necessarily, right? So utilize this time to really tap into that confidence, tap into that Aries energy. And again, collecting that moon water because you can use that for a nice, sensual, spiritual bath. With that being stated, let's get into our 5 crystals and 5 herbs that we can utilize, because this is a good time to take a spiritual bath for confidence, for sensuality, for strength, for that divine knowing. This is a good time for that passion, that fire energy. This is a good time to take a spiritual bath for that. So let me do the herbs first, and then we'll do the crystals. Herbs. 5 herbs to utilize during this time. And of course, there are many more. Y'all in the comments, put your favorite herbs that help you channel fire, sexiness, passion, strength, certainty. Put some of your favorite herbs. 5 herbs that I recommend is cinnamon, of course, and that cinnamon is all about that fire energy, also abundance and manifesting wealth and wellness and things like that. Burdock root. Burdock is all about circulation and fire. Okay. Burdock root is good for the blood. It's a good blood cleanser, right? It's all about promoting circulation. It's all about that Aries fire energy. Okay. Getting things flowing and circulating to you and in your favor. So burdock root. Basil is also good. Basil is good for prosperity, manifesting new opportunities, that newness. Okay. So that new moon energy. Chamomile. Chamomile is meant to ease, bring peace and balance. As I said, that Mercury retrograde energy has the potential to kind of make you feel a little bit unstable, unorganized. That chamomile is to smooth you out, bring peace. Yes, dragon's blood is a good one. I see you. And then the last one, and you ain't gonna put this in your spiritual bath, okay? Some people might, but not for me. Okay, but the last one I recommend for drinking or for burning is cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper, of course, is that good fiery energy, that passion, and cayenne pepper is also a catalyst. So it helps speed up energy. It helps speed up your manifestations and things like that, okay? So cayenne pepper. They talk about cannabis. Come on, Carol. Carol. Come on, Carol. Cinnamon, star anise, I see you. Come on, bay leaf. Bay leaf, I see you. Jasmine. Jasmine is a good one. When I was in South Africa, I had a whole fence of jasmine that surrounded my house. I was renting a house when I was there, the beginning of when I was there. And it was a whole fence of jasmine, and it smelled so good. I love jasmine. Okay, so with those herbs, you can make a tea. You could do a spiritual bath, omit the cannabis, add some honey too. If we're doing a spiritual bath for confidence, you definitely want to have some honey in there. You want to have some sunflowers, some calendula, something like that. Some jasmine would be good in there. Last time I talked about lang lang oil. That's good for abundance. That's good to put in there as well. You also want to use your moon water and put some of that moon water in that spiritual bath as well. So use these for a spiritual bath, okay? Now, crystals, okay? Crystals that you want to use during this time, 5 crystals. Opal, labradorite. I don't never know if I'm saying that right. Universal Lighthouse. Sean always tell me how to say it. Okay, I think I'm saying it right. Labradorite. Y'all know me. I be saying honestly when I ain't talking to y'all, I just be like labradorite. They know what I be meaning. Y'all know what's on my spirit. Labradorite. You know what I mean? I know what it look like. You can use labradorite, or malachite. Either of those two. Okay. Fluorite is also good. Rose quartz, and aventurine. Now, the intention of all these stones is, again, it's all about that balance energy. It's all about manifestation. It's all about bringing peace and ease and protection to you during this time, especially that fluorite and that opal, okay? That fluorite and that opal are 2 really, really good ones. So those are 5 crystals. So I'm going to run through them again. Opal, labradorite, malachite, fluorite, rose quartz, aventurine. That's 6, but I was saying labradorite or malachite. You kind of don't need both, but you can utilize both if you want. But you really don't need both. Both of them are for emotional safety, wellness, and protection emotionally. Okay, so bringing that balance and that peace emotionally when you need to ground. Both of those are good for grounding in the emotion space. All right, so this is all about holistic wellness. That's for the emotion body. So you don't need both for the emotion, but it's good to have them. Okay, family. So that's it. Again, keep in mind, 4/19, the evening of 4/19, we have the hybrid solar eclipse where the moon is casting that shadow, but you will have that ring of fire. That's what makes it a hybrid, a cross between a full and partial, because the full new moon will cast a shadow, but it's a partial kind of, because you have that ring of fire that would be visible. However, in the US, we may not necessarily be able to see it, but we'll still feel the energy. So 4:19, 9:34 p.m., we have the Eastern time. We have the hybrid solar eclipse in Aries. Then you have the new moon in Aries quickly transitioning into Taurus. That same evening after midnight, so 12:12 a.m. or 4:20, you will have the new moon peaking in Aries, and then it quickly transitions to Taurus at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. That's 4:20. And then on 4:21 is the official start of Mercury retrograde. But the shadow period of both the new moon and Mercury retrograde are occurring right now. Okay. Mercury retrograde will end May 14th. Utilize all of this energy in your favor, family. Okay. Utilize all of this energy in your favor. You got your 5 do's, you got your 5 don'ts, you got your journal prompts, your herbs, and your crystals. Well, this community, I am posting the notes in the Patreon right now. They are officially published. I love y'all, wellness community. I will see y'all on 420. We are having our 420 new moon Zoom. 420 is National Weed Day. So we are having our 420 new moon Zoom to celebrate with all of those who indulge in the cannabis, in the greenery. Okay, well, this community, I will see y'all there 420 at 7 p.m. To everyone else, I will see y'all sometime soon. Okay, I love y'all. Much peace and happy new moon, happy solar eclipse, happy Mercury retrograde, because we are utilizing all of this energy in our favor. I love y'all, and I will see y'all soon.